got people renting cars just for the hell of it. Kind of reminds me, a car rental thing that just recently happened. Reminds me of the what was the movie with Tom Cruise? The NASCAR movie was
Days of Thunder, which, by the way, was filmed in a lot of it was filmed in Bristol.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. But remember, they had the two rental cars, and they were, they were in a wheelchair.
Ford
they were
Taurus.
racing.
Yeah,
and they kind of brought them back in not so good shape. Well, we want to share with you. If you haven't seen this video, please go out and watch it, man. It is hilarious.
So you keep, like, honest to God, ladies and gentlemen, before we started recording, Jay's like, I got to watch this one more time. So
it's just hilarious, man. But there's this dude, and when I shared the video with Keith, I said, "Have you seen this?" And all I get back is just "Oh my God," one of those "Whoa!" And to see this guy fly through the air like he did, and people standing around filming this from several angles, I'm like, this is going to be one expensive video for content creation, man.
Yeah, and, people do intentionally blow up stuff and blow up automobiles and do it on YouTube all day. And by the way, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And they get lots of views over it because people like to watch a train wreck, so to speak. I think this is simultaneously, like, hilarious because we're not involved and don't have anything to do with it, and also, like, absurd and scary. And look, we've all, I'm just speaking for myself here, but I'm sure we all have done dumb things as teenagers. I certainly have. I think the difference is I did them out, like, in the country with a few of my friends where I wasn't necessarily risking the lives of innocent bystanders. Now, not to say I had good judgment. It sort of sounds like I practiced good judgment back then. I didn't.
Right.
I'm not trying to make that case.
In your mind today, you think that it was better judgment than what we are seeing
here.
That's
let's okay, so this guy catches a tremendous amount of air in a Tesla.
Oh my God, in a Tesla.
Right?
Yeah, it was a Tesla Model S. And he crashed it, man. This was in a residential area of Los Angeles.
There were people down the street that he slammed into that were in their vehicles.
Yes.
That were not involved in the stunt.
No, all the people that were involved, that appeared to be involved, that were filming this thing were, like, at the level where he actually went airborne. So they were catching him catching air on film, and there were, like, several angles of it. So that those people were there specifically to catch that on video. Yeah. So, and what did I say to you? I'm like, dude, this is like live Jackass. This is like totally a Jackass stunt or something. And
here's so as far as that goes, to sort of back that up, did you see what was happening on social media with I can't, so I don't know for sure that it was the actual person driving the Tesla. We know that the LAPD was searching for him. They posted some things out on social media.
There's a $1,000 reward for the guy.
But then somebody comes back out with the old, the song that I probably can't say on here and keep our general rating. It was Ice-T, right? F the Police,
yes.
Right? They were playing that in the background.
Yeah.
And the guy was posting on, I think it was it TikTok?
Yes.
Basically holding the car keys and alluding that he was the guy that was driving the vehicle. You saw this, right?
I did, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It was on Twitter, TikTok. It was all over. If you're on social media and you missed it, you don't know how to use social media. Because it was on every feed out there, and I had several people that I know that were sharing it and asked me if I saw it, and hoping that we might talk about it on the podcast. And so that's kind of why I wanted to bring this thing up today, because it is kind of funny but extremely dangerous.
Well, and I guess what makes
this thing got some real serious air, man.
Yeah, there's no way that that was complete and total loss of control. There's no way on a it's not a closed street that this guy could have known beforehand that he wouldn't crash into other cars and potentially kill people. And I think the thing that bothers me about it is more if this is the guy that's posting that he did it, sort of the can't catch me attitude, like not taking responsibility for, like, Jay, I did some dumb stuff. I crashed some cars as a teenager, and there was this moment of gravity, right, where I went, ooh, that was maybe not a good decision. And then you sort of reconcile with that, right? And you go, there might have been an apology involved if it was the farmer's, fence or whatever, right? Or somebody else's car. There's none of that going on here.
Right. Well, I'm going to just say this. If my dad's listening, which everybody, if you're a fan of ours and you're subscribed to our podcast, we've had my dad on the podcast, and he's a big fan. Hey, Dad, do you remember when I put my car in the lake?
Man, I thought I had a good one.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when I come visit you next time, Dad. Oh boy, did he! I left it there too.
Wait a minute, Jake.
Because
put a car in the lake
intentionally.
On screen.
I'm gonna need some sort of doc. Do we have pictures?
There might be some pictures floating around. I have to ask Dad if he's got it, because here's what happened. So it was late at night when it happened. I was out with a bunch of buds doing donuts out on the banks of the lake, and spun out of control and got into the water a little bit. And I'm like, oh, well, let's see how far I can get in there and then get out. Well, it didn't get out. So I had to open the doors and wade out of there, and couldn't get it out because, we had to walk home. So I ended up walking home with a buddy. And next, he also was, his dad owned a farm. They were dairy farmers, so he had access to tractors. So he pulled me out. But in the meantime of leaving it in the lake, it was reported that there was a car in the lake.
Red alert! All hands to battle stations.
Yeah, and fortunately for me, though, the individual of law enforcement that reported the vehicle being in the lake to my father happened to be a distant relative of ours,
see,
who happened to be on the PD, and kind of said, "It's there. It was there. Now it's gone. Let's just." No harm, no foul.
I think the days of common sense in law enforcement and good judgment, I'm not blaming them, but I think those days are gone. I grew up in a similar environment, and I knew a lot of the folks that worked for the local, like, sheriff's department and, city police. And,
sure.
Look, I mean, there's this whole element of, did anybody get hurt? Was there any property damage to anyone other than the person performing said stunts, right? Said jackass, right?
Yes.
And if not, then sort of like, look, it's just more paperwork, lesson learned here. Let's move on. Let's not bog down the system. That can't happen anymore.
I was let me just say this. I was a member of the Ass family. However, Jack was not my first name. Dumb was. And I think my dad may have called me that a couple of times, but the car never ran right after that.
Oh,
by the way.
No question. Yeah.
Got water in the transmission, and it was an automatic, so it was not a healthy piece of equipment after that. But anyway, I ended up selling it and getting something else, and I think eventually I went in the military. Wonder why.